The Emptiness Machine. The first time I heard the term emptiness machine, I thought it was absurd. Machines weren't supposed to make you feel things or take feelings away. But here I am, 10 years later, staring into the dim, metallic maw of the thing that has hollowed me out. It started with my brother, Jack. We were close, once. Though close feels like a hollow word now, a lie I tell myself to stay tethered to who I used to be. Jack was the kind of person who made you feel like you mattered, even when you didn't. He was good at that, at filling spaces with laughter and presence. I guess that's why his absence was so suffocating. I remember the night it happened. It was cold, the kind of cold that feels like it seeps through your skin and curls around your ribs. Jack had been out late, chasing something. Freedom, love, or maybe just the next high. I never asked. He came back stumbling, his hoodie damp with sweat and the smell of rain. His eyes looked glassy, distant. "I think I found it," he said, his voice trembling like an old record skipping. "What?" I asked, already weary of his riddles. "The machine." That was the first time he mentioned it. He wouldn't stop talking about it after that night. It became an obsession, a dark fixation that pulled him further and further away. He said it could strip away everything that weighed you down. Grief, pain, memories. I should have known then that he was already too far gone. But I didn't. I thought I could save him. I visit Jack's old room sometimes, though I can't stand to touch anything. It's frozen in time, the bed unmade, posters curling off the walls, a stale smell of decay, mingling with the faintest hint of his cologne. There's a box under his bed I can't bring myself to open. It might hold answers, or it might just be full of junk. Either way, I don't want to know. The night he disappeared, he left a note. It was scrawled hastily, barely legible. "I'm going to find myself." It was ironic in a way that wasn't funny. He didn't find himself. He found the machine. The first time I saw it, it didn't look like much. Just a rusted relic of something half forgotten. It sat in a derelict warehouse on the edge of town, surrounded by empty cans and the kind of graffiti that didn't feel like art. I didn't understand what Jack had seen in it, why he had spoken about it like it was alive. But when I touched it, I felt it too. A faint hum, a whisper, like something breathing just beneath the surface. It was his voice that convinced me to sit in it. Jack's voice, clear and desperate, like he was standing right behind me. "You don't have to feel this anymore," he said. "You don't have to carry it." I should have run, but I didn't. At first it worked. The weight in my chest that had been crushing me for years started to lift. Memories of Jack's funeral, of the empty, cavernous church and the way my mother's hands shook, faded into static. I felt lighter, freer. For a while, I thought it was a miracle. But the emptiness started to spread. It wasn't just the bad memories that disappeared. It was everything. The sound of Jack's laugh, the way he used to ruffle my hair when I was annoyed. Even the smell of his cologne in his room started to fade. I tried to hold on to those pieces, but they slipped through my fingers like smoke. And the machine wasn't done. It wanted more. The worst part wasn't losing Jack. It was losing the version of myself that had loved him. The machine didn't just strip away pain, it stripped away meaning. Without grief, there was no love. Without sorrow, no joy. I became a hollow version of myself, a shadow, walking through a world I couldn't feel. I remember sitting on the floor of my apartment, staring at a photo of us from years ago. Jack was grinning, his arms slung around my shoulder, and I looked, happy. I stared at that photo for hours, trying to remember what it felt like to be in that moment. But it was like staring at someone else's life, someone else's joy. The memory was gone, stolen by the machine. I tried to stop. I tried to resist the pull, to stay away from it. But the emptiness called to me, a siren song I couldn't ignore. Every time I felt the faintest flicker of emotion, anger, sadness, even hope, it whispered to me, "You don't need this," it said. "You can be free." But freedom isn't what I found. It was a void, a gaping chasm where my soul used to be. The last time I sat in the machine, I knew it would be the end. There was nothing left to lose, nothing left to take. I sat in the cold metal chair, staring at the flickering lights on the console, and let it finish what it started. I don't know how long I was there. When I woke up, the world felt distant, like I was watching it through frosted glass. Colors were muted, sounds muffled. The weight in my chest was gone, but so was everything else. I stood up, shaky and disoriented, and looked at my reflection in a cracked mirror hanging on the wall. My face stared back at me, hollow-eyed and unfamiliar. I tried to smile, but it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like anything. Now, I wander through the days like a ghost, half alive and half forgotten. Sometimes I think about Jack, about the person I used to be. I wonder if he found what he was looking for in the machine. I wonder if he found peace, or if he's as hollow as I am, a shadow, lost in the dark. I go back to the warehouse sometimes, though I don't know why. The machine sits there, silent and waiting, a monument to everything it has taken. I run my hand over the cold metal and feel the faint hum beneath my fingertips, a reminder that it's still alive, still hungry. I don't know why I keep coming back. Maybe I'm waiting for it to finish the job, to take the last scraps of who I am. Or maybe I'm hoping it will give something back. But it doesn't. It never does. The world keeps turning, indifferent to my emptiness. People move on, live their lives, love and lose and laugh. I watch them from a distance, a ghost haunting a life I can no longer touch. I don't know how to end this story, because there is no end, no closure, just a hollow machine and a hollow man, bound together by what they've taken.